Yes, we're still celebrating the Leafs this week. Hopefully they keep that streak going. Okay, today, Friday. And today's episode is about a performer I saw back in 1979 on television. My first exposure to the music of Rickie Lee Jones. Now, Rickie Lee Jones had just put out her first album, and it was Rickie Lee Jones. And it had one hit of that Chucky's in Love that was starting to get a little bit of a buzz. But at the same time, she was booked kind of as an unknown act on Saturday Night Live. And after that performance, everything just broke wide open. Now, I remember watching the episode, and again, I had no idea who she was. It's the first time I'm seeing her. And she was one of the performers that after I'd seen her performance there, I went right out and bought some of her material, which at that time was only this album, Rickie Lee Jones. But there's been a few bands I've seen on Saturday Night Live that were like that. Certainly Meatloaf was one. Talking Heads was another. A big Talking Heads fan, which I'd never heard them before seeing them on Saturday Night Live. That show brought a lot of what I would say were unknown or locally known acts to the forefront and exposed them to, North America. And what I saw when Rickie Lee Jones performed, I just really had to hear more of that music. Now, Rickie Lee Jones had a style all her own. I think the songs she might have done that night were Chucky's in Love, which was a big hit, and another one called Coolsville, which was really more like a beat song. Now, she was somehow connected, or not somehow connected, she was connected with Tom Waits for a while. I think they went out for a while, and I believe she is also the girl that's pictured on the back of Tom Waits' Blue Valentine. There's a scene where there's a girl leaning against the car, and the story is that is Rickie Lee Jones. Now, I don't know a lot of the band members by name when I hear them. It was her performance more that stood out. And I know after I'd heard this, I was going to a graduation up in Peterborough. Hey, Margot. And bought the 8-track for my car. And all the trip up and all the trip back, all I listened to was this album. It was just that amazing. And to me, everything on it was a hit. Just to give you some idea of what we got here, Chucky's in Love, and that was the real big radio hit. On Saturday Afternoons in 1963, Night Train, Young Blood, Easy Money, Last Chance, Texaco. Excellent tune. It really stand out. Danny's All-Star Joint. That's a nice jivey tune as well. Coolsville, Willie and the White Boys Cool, Company, and After Hours. And to me, everything on the album was a gem. Now, Rickie Lee Jones has been around since '79. She's still recording, still doing concerts. But for me, it was kind of like the syndrome that you get into with that first big hit. A couple of albums that come to mind right off the top of my head, Don McLean's American Pie. How do you match that? And I know there was a real problem because that album was such a big hit and had such an impact that the subsequent albums just never seemed to match up. Another one I think of, Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Fantastic album, but the sequels, you didn't feel they really matched. Just like sequels in movies. You get that first big blockbuster and they do the second one, and a lot of times they really don't hit the mark where that first one was. And maybe it's just that first experience. When you've never heard something like it before and you hear it for the first time, maybe that's what locks in and makes that special or makes it exciting. And it's hard to recreate that. This was one of those albums. I had a couple other Rickie Lee Jones albums, but I never found they really had the impact or had the feel that what I got from this one. This is the one I come back to more often than any of them. If you haven't heard of her or haven't heard this album or haven't heard any of her music, check it out. I would say this is a great place to start because there are just so many different styles and it's a very different kind of music. When you hear she's connected with Tom Waits, some of it makes a little more sense. But something certainly, 1979, Saturday Night Live created another superstar. Okay, that's it for this week. Rickie Lee Jones today. Everybody, have a great weekend. Stay safe. And we'll hope to see you on Monday. Thanks for stopping by.